Hi again. Right now we're going to be working on contour and blush, and then we'll be following out with finishing out the lip and the eyes. So let's get started. So I'm going to be using the contour palette, the Mary Kay one. This is not the whole palette. I purchased this, and then you can purchase whatever you want to fill it in. But this is going to be my contour color, and oh shoot, no, I don't remember what it's named. Okay, this one is called Latte. And it's perfect because I love coffee. So this is Latte. So I'm going to be taking my cheek brush. So the interesting thing about the cheek brush is that it has this great shape to it. So it has this kind of it's very fluffy, but also it has this kind of pushed in part where it kind of does, here, hopefully you can see that. So this is kind of what it looks like, so I really like this for a couple things, but I love it for contour. I love it for cheek color. For me, I'm like, it has to have multiple uses. Otherwise I don't want to buy something for one thing. So I'm going to get right into it. So typically I will start with the dark color, and then I'll go to the light color, and then I'll do the cheek color because I don't want the cheek color moving all around as I'm putting on my other colors. So I'm going to take for my contour, and I'm actually going to pinch my brush like this. Sometimes I do it like this. I don't know. It just kind of depends on what you like. But I'm going to start it like this. So I'm pinching my brush so it's nice and narrow. And I'm going to pick up, just by patting, this Latte color. So that I've got about that much on. So where I'm going to place is I'm going to look for my jawbone. I'm sorry, not jawbone, cheekbone, and go right under that. And I like a nice sharp contour. So it's hard to see on the video, but I can see it in real life. But I typically like a very sharp contour. I have kind of a square shaped face, so I like to kind of change that shape. As you can see, I kind of have, my jaw kind of does this on the outside. So I like to kind of calm that and make it a little more feminine. So I'm actually, instead of going underneath my chin, how most people do it, I'm actually going to go right on top because of my face shape. And I'm going to pat all the way down to my chin here. And I'm kind of pushing hard to push in the color, as you can kind of see that there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, I purposely do it really intense because when I do my powder afterward, I typically use something called translucent loose powder, and it calms down anything that you have put on. So I will usually do it pretty intense, so I know it's there. So here's my contour here. Here's my contour here. As you can see, I'm better at one side than the other, but that's okay. So I'm going to take a little bit more of this contour because I don't have quite enough here. And I'm going to keep pinching it and kind of blending it like this and staying right on that line. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to pull this down so it looks like it's a shadow underneath my chin, even though it's not really a shadow, it's just makeup. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to keep checking. I'm not going to do my whole makeup like this and be like, okay, it looks good, because I want it to look normal when I'm looking at somebody and talking to them. So this one is pretty dark. I'm going to kind of blend that down. All right, so as you can see, again, it's very dark still. It looks like I have lines on my face, but we're going to take care of that. Okay, so the dark part is done now. I'm going to move on to my light part. Oh, no, it's not done. I'm sorry, I forgot. A lot of people do it up by their temples. The reason for that is they want to have that really nice oval shape. So again, because of my hairline, I have a very square shaped face. So I'm going to kind of round off those edges. So my contour goes right up here, as you can kind of see there. And it's going to kind of visually round out so it doesn't look such like a harsh. And cheaterly, I just do this side a little more because of my hairstyle. You don't see this very much, but I still like to do it a little bit. Okay, now my dark is done. So next step is I'm going to kind of just fluff that part off and then pick up my my other color. I think it's called Glazed. Let me check. Oh no, come on out. So what I really like about this palette is that it's a magnet palette, so you can change out stuff as you finish it. You don't have to buy a whole new palette for one color. So that's something I really like about it. So yes, this is called Glazed. So it's this color right here. I'm actually going to put these back in. Again, I'm going to do the pinchy thing. So I'm going to pinch it and hold it tight. pick up like this much color. And I'm gonna go right above where my dark lines are, because this is gonna be where the light would naturally be hitting my face. So I will kind of check to make sure, okay, as I'm looking in the mirror, I'm looking at, okay, light actually does hit here. So I'm gonna highlight that. Okay, as I'm looking, okay, light does hit here. So again, I'm pinching it and patting into place. Okay. Some people do their forehead. I usually don't, because I feel like it's such a large part of my face, but I will do it so you guys can see where to put it. Again, with this, we're gonna go right above, right on that jawline, or wherever you want your jawline to look like it is. Don't swipe, pat that in, because you've got a lot of color above and below it. So you wanna make sure it doesn't mix. Okay, so I'm gonna do the forehead. If you're doing your forehead, it kind of goes right kind of in the middle here above. So like right about here would be about where you want it to be. This one you can be a little bit more relaxed with, because unless you have contour like right up here or right down here, this one's a little bit more forgiving. So I'm using a light hand. I'm holding it kind of close, which is probably not great. There we go. I'm just gonna kind of blend that. Okay, so now that you see I have the light color here, dark color, light color, dark color. Same thing on the other side. And I have my dark color up here to kind of reshape my face. So as you can see, this kind of brings in my cheeks a little bit. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do blush, which I know it looks really crazy right now, but I promise it'll look better once we do powder. All right, so my blush color, I love, because it has a little hint of like a sun-kissed almost in it. So this is called Shy Blush, which I absolutely love. This one I will not be pinching it. I'm going to do my best to get it kind of like right in the middle there. Because of the shape of the brush, it kind of lends itself to that nice little swoosh. So I'm just going to kind of pat like this and pick it up right in the middle there. And then I'm going to kind of put that right on top of my contour and blend it out. Now again, I'm going to go a little bit heavy because of the powder. I don't know if you can see how this has a little more, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but. All right. So now that I look ridiculous, let's bring this back to normal proportions. Actually, this is not terrible for online or on a screen somewhere, because the screen kind of calms everything down already. So we don't want to overdo that, especially if we're on a screen. Sorry, can I get my coffee? Also, this is an amazing chiropractor. I love this. They're Innate Health Chiropractic, and they're amazing. I love them. But yes, they just gave us this coffee mug, just like, hey, Merry Christmas. And we're like, for what? We were anyhow. But yes, if you need a chiropractor, go see them. But yes. Okay, so now we're gonna do powder. So the powder that I use is called Translucent Loose Powder. It's like a white powder. It looks like something else, so you know. And I'm gonna use my powder brush. So my powder brush is essentially a ball. It's extremely fluffy, not very dense at all. It's a full like ball shape, all that sort of stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just barely dip like the edges in, and it picks up quite a bit. And I'm gonna knock off the excess so I don't have like a ton of product, because it's gonna end up all over my clothes. So I'm gonna start kind of patting that, especially where the most intense color is. As you can see, it calmed that right down. So again, I'm gonna pick up, tap. So this is a dual purpose. First, it kind of calms everything down, but it also sets everything. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be outside and sweating, or I'm going to a wedding or a graduation or something where you're nervous about sweat kind of being a factor in your look, just make sure that you set it really well. So anytime you put a liquid, you want to set it with a powder or some kind of like dry something, because that will really help. And so if I've gone too crazy on my contour, this stuff is your best friend, because it can calm that right down. And so this is why I always tell people, don't put a ton of concealer under your eyes, because when you follow with that powder, this is a lightening powder. So again, reduces intensity of anything, including, you know, any kind of colors you have on. So I will do, if I have dark circles under my eyes, I will gently pat this, and I do not have sensitive eyes at all, so just whatever works for you and your body. And I'm going to gently pat this in because it's going to lighten and brighten up that middle of my face area. And I'm going to gently swipe that away. Gently swipe that away. I'm going to make sure that I powder everything. And then I'm going to do my powder with a tint to it, which is the Silky Setting Powder. And I wear the color Medium Ivory. And it's the same kind of feel to it. And I'm going to do this on my neck to blend everything. And a little on my face. All right, and that is blush, contour, and powder. And I will, in the next video, I will finish off the look with lips and mascara and setting spray. So, all right, see you in the next video.